Here's Brody Brazil.
I totally realize this, and I'm going to admit it before anybody calls me out on it. I'm going to be the world's biggest hypocrite with this video because for so long I've been saying, you know what, on social media, I don't care about your fantasy team. I don't care about your fantasy players, your roster, your draft, your trades, nothing like that. It just doesn't interest me. And that's mostly because I've been out of the fantasy football loop for about 15 years. Well, here I am now making a fantasy football video about my team because I'm back. I got talked into it. It was a little bit of peer pressure, but there's also some camaraderie built in here. I'll tell you about my league and how we drafted in just a second. Eventually, we're going to get to my fantasy team. Kyler Murray, Antioch's own Najee Harris, Justin Jefferson was my very first pick. But I need some help because my team, I've heard from people, is a little bit rough. So I'm going to need some advice. I'm going to need some input by the end of this video. We will get there in just a second, but I got to explain the league. I got to explain the setup here of what happened. So it's 14 total teams. That's a big league, kind of watered down by the end of that draft. It's all neighborhood dads. That's how I got talked into it. And when we were discussing a fantasy league, this was, weeks ago, I knew that my fall and winter might look a little bit different, maybe working, maybe not. So I said, you know what? I could use some support. I could use some camaraderie. I want to get in this league with the dads. I want to do this. And you know what? It was a good bonding thing for us to do. I've loved it so far. We haven't even scratched the surface yet. So a bunch of neighborhood dads. It's also a 6-bench player league. So yeah, 14 teams and 6 bench players. That waiver wire may not be as active as it could or should be. And of course, there's going to be some money for first place and there's going to be a punishment for last place. I don't know that I want or need to get into the details of those two things. Let's just say that this is good, this is bad, as you can probably figure. But let's get to the curious part and why I titled this video as such. Our draft was held at a Taco Bell cantina, and the offer was $30 for every person coming and drafting, all you can eat. They blocked out the patio. There was cornhole. It was a super nice night. I mean, we lucked out in terms of the weather. But originally we were thinking, all right, let's do this in a neutral location, maybe the neighborhood clubhouse or whatever. But we decided this was a great option. This was a great alternative. I'm here to tell you right now, by the way, let me just stop right here. If you ever have the chance to do a draft like we did at a Taco Bell cantina for that offer right there, for the $30 offer, you should absolutely engage in that offer if you can get it. But the problem is, at Taco Bell Cantina, my draft might have been under the influence. And no, I don't necessarily mean from the 3 IPAs that I drank. I'm talking about from the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items I had of food. I'll be perfectly honest, like a really heavy Taco Bell visit for me is about 4 things. This was basically twice that. And I've loved Taco Bell since back in the day. In the realm of fast food, everything's fine, once in a while this and that, but the one that'll always get me is Taco Bell. If I drive past and I'm hungry at all, ooh, it's the urge. Ooh, especially late night, it is the urge. Anyway, 4 spicy potato tacos, 1 bean burrito. That was the appetizer, by the way, the bean burrito. 1 Crunchwrap Supreme, 1 veggie Mexican pizza. Wait a second. Did I really spell that wrong? Firing myself here. I'll cross that out. 1 veggie Mexican pizza, a cinnamon twist bag, and yes, 3 beers. They serve alcohol at Taco Bell Cantina. And that's why it made this perfect. With the exception that I consumed 3,020 estimated calories. I could not stop. So the question is, did Taco Bell make my draft worse, or can I blame Taco Bell on making my draft bad? Because after it was all said and done, Yahoo came back and said, you get a draft ranking of D. And I was thinking, well, everybody probably gets a bad one. Like there's no A's, probably the best one's a B. No, some people got A's. Somebody got an A+. It got emailed to everybody, as I'm sure you know how this works. Again, I'm just jumping back into fantasy. Like I haven't done this in so long. I'm bad at it. I forgot about a lot of stuff, but I'm projected to finish 10th out of 14 teams. And I'll be honest, I think it's worse than that. I really think they were being nice to me by saying 10 out of 14 is where they think I'll finish. So here are my starters. I want you to digest this. I'll get to my starters, my bench, my kicker, my defense in just a second. Soak this in so you can eventually give me some input and comments down below and help me out here. What can I do? Is it too late? Am I royally screwed? The buy-in on this is not terrible, so I'm okay to lose it all, but I'd rather not finish last place because of that whole punishment thing. All right, Kyler Murray is my quarterback, and did I take him for the Oakland A's connection? Not necessarily, but he was one of the higher-rated quarterbacks as I was picking, although as you're about to see, Jared Goff is my backup, and some people said Goff should be your starter. I don't know what to do there. Eventually, maybe I trade one of the two to get some more running backs because I am a little bit weak there. Justin Jefferson was my first pick overall, wide receiver from the Vikings. It's also interesting that I've got Marvin Harrison, so I've got the Kyler and Marvin connection from Arizona. If those two go off and have a really good day, that could be interesting for points. Najee Harris, the Antioch native for Pittsburgh. I know the running back situation for me is a little bit rough. Chase Brown. Yeah, I get it. For the Bengals, may not even get as many touches as he should. Mark Andrews already played, and he didn't do a lot the other night. I'll show you where my score sits already. I think he got 2.4 points. And then Calvin Ridley is my flex. So obviously wide receiver, running back, or tight end. I wish we could have done two quarterbacks. I know that's just that nobody does that, but that would have been fun because then I would have been able to get Goff in there. So soak this all in, right? Are those even the right starters? Or could I trade one of these starters to leverage for somebody else for something that I need? Here's what my bench looks like. I've got Goff, I've got Robinson, I've got McLaughlin. By the way, I drafted Ricky Pearsall before the whole shooting incident happened. And that's my point. I liked the story of Ricky Pearsall. I don't know. And I knew the Ayuk thing was going to happen, but I didn't know if Pearsall would eventually, get some reps, make some points. But now that he's gone through all this, and now that I'm seeing him walking around the practice field, I don't care about how fast his recovery happens. I just want him to get right permanently. Like this is not about fantasy, but I'm telling you here that I'm keeping him on my fantasy for karma. I love his story. And even if he does 0, 0, 0, that totally, I will keep. It's a six-person bench league. I'm keeping him because of karma and good spirits. So that's my point about fantasy. Take your time, dude. Honestly, it is what an amazing story. Anyway, I have Ricky Pearsall, and I'm like proud to have Ricky Pearsall. Antonio Gibson and Pierce is my other running back from Houston. So yeah, the problem is I've got 1, 2, 3 running backs, and I've got 2 starting, and I don't know. What my thought is trade Goff to kind of fix that situation, to do something. Maybe get 2 players back for Jared Goff. I don't know. And then I drafted Brandon Aubrey. I did a video on him recently. He's the kicker for Dallas. He had a 66-yarder in the preseason against the Raiders in Las Vegas. And I think last year, from 50 or greater yards, he was perfect, like a 12 for 12. And you know what? Dallas might be a team that have to settle for more field goals than getting in the end zone. And I love Aubrey's story. He was a soccer player. That didn't work out. Then he got into software engineering. His wife was like, I think you can still kick. In fact, I think you could be in the NFL. And so here he is. He was in the USFL, and now he's in the NFL. I also have the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I don't know. Middle of the pack. I know that's nothing special. I don't know honestly, I don't know what your defense or your kicker are actually supposed to do. Remember, I'm just re-entering this. I know they're not imperative. I guess they could help in small ways here and there if it comes down to a point or two, but that's what my kicker and defense look like already. Okay, it's Saturday as I'm recording this, so obviously we've got the Thursday night game and last night's game from Brazil in the books, and good news! I'm beating my buddy Max from down the street. I'm beating him 2.4 to nothing. But look at his team, look at my team. There's a reason why it has picked me to have about a 30% chance to win, and Max's team has about a 70% chance to win. What do you think about that? Are the estimates right? But if you look like 16 to 19, it's close. Look, I'll beat him here in the wide receiver position. The other wide receiver position's pretty close. He's gonna, Hall's gonna hurt me with the with that running back comparison. Anyway, I could go down the list on and on here, but theoretically, 94 to 105, it says I'll probably lose by 10, but to be honest, I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose by 25 or 30. So here are my questions to conclude this video. Thank you for sticking with this, by the way. Is my team that bad? Do I have the right starters? What possible trades could I make to help myself out? And are there any sleepers I should be looking at in the waiver wire? So here's my end goal. So I would love it if anybody could help me out with those questions. That would just put them down, your answers down in the comment section below. But here's the deal. Here's why I'm in fantasy football. I want to have fun. I want to hang out. I want to talk that talk, even when I'm bad. And I just don't want to finish last. I don't want to finish last. That's my only thing. So help me. Please help me. I need your help. I know there's a lot of smart people out there. What can I do? And you can keep in touch with me on this. I need help. This is kind of my mission to not finish last in the Neighborhood Fantasy Football League. You made it here to the end of this video. Really appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. That helps me, this video, and this channel. I would like that, but I would love it even more, especially these days. If you would just take 1 second, make sure down there you're subscribing to this channel. That way I can definitely see you back here next time.